Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unveiling Beauty. My name is Ammon and I am thrilled to be joined with none other than Mr. David Lopez today as my co-host. What's up, Mr.
Hello.
Lopez?
Hi, this is so exciting.
I know, I'm so excited to have you on board today and talking through this particular topic. And before we jump into today's episode, I actually had something that I wanted to kind of have a proud moment myself, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a journey for me, and I thought it was apropos given today's topic. I was nominated in the North American Hairdressing Awards for the texture category, and I've been working really hard over the last few years to understand and earn my way into texture management and learning from you and from Keela and from other industry professionals, just how to work with texture in a way that was much different than I had thought when I started, because I got out of hair school and they didn't have much. So I thought I knew, but I had no idea what I didn't know. And so I'm excited, and I wanted to just bounce that with you as we kick off the show, because I know you've been part of that journey and helping me. And so I want to thank you for that and just recognize that moment, because I feel proud. It feels awesome.
You should be very proud. I think it's a true testament to when we first started having the conversation about texture. Keela and I and the pro team really tried to drive home to anyone we teach texture to is that texture is a lived experience, and it's more than just kind of hairdresser talk and learning the angles of everything. And I feel like from the very beginning, you really took into consideration and respected that texture is a lived experience, and it's a very personal one. And I think, obviously it's paid off because you had such a beautiful collection. I'm so proud of you for this.
Thank you. And I promise that wasn't like a self-blow moment. It's been a journey. And I think a lot of people out there can relate. So, but let's get to the topic today, because it does thread right into that. And I know that it'll be right near and dear to a lot of people's heart that are watching who are on a similar journey. Today's topic is called Keeping the Curls, which is just a creative way for us to talk about texture. And so before we dive right in, remember you guys to follow us on Instagram tomorrow to find out about a winner for the giveaway. What are we looking at giving away, David?
So we're going to be giving away some of the DevaCurl products that we're talking about in this video that I have in my hair that Faith is going to use. And so the person who engages the most is going to have the chance and opportunity to win. So make sure that you're paying attention to that 100%.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into the show, because you already mentioned her name. So I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce our guest today.
I am so honored. I'm actually a little bit emotional to introduce Faith Jones, who is the manager of digital education for DevaCurl. I don't know if anyone knows this, but we're going to find out is that Faith actually was hired by me at DevaShawn Salon in Westchester. I actually opened the Westchester Salon for DevaShawn, which is the home of DevaCurl. And now she's the manager of digital education, and we have such a long history. We're babies. This is over 10 years ago, Faith, that we met, and I hired you in the salon as my assistant manager at the time. And now, look at this journey.
Ta-da!
I know. Well, welcome, Faith, to this conversation. I am so proud and honored to see your journey as a hairstylist. When you joined DevaShawn Salon as assistant manager, you weren't even doing hair at the time.
No, I had graduated from college in 2008, and I was looking to see what I wanted to do. And I actually was inspired to go to cosmetology school after working at the DevaShawn Salon, because I saw how amazing transformations were and allowing people to embrace their natural textures. And so now we're here.
I know. And it was such a cool thing, because I remember at the time you were on your own texture journey of embracing your natural texture. So you were in the midst of it as well. And I remember every day it was like this new level of excitement, seeing our clients walking through the door, and it was texture from morning to night, every day. That's all we did. So that was kind of really cool, I think, for all of us to have in our own little circle.
So cool. I love having you on the show right now. Thank you, David, for such a great introduction and setup. I'm dying. I'm on my I want to know what the two of you plan on sharing with us today. So let me know what's up.
I think we want to talk a little bit about DevaCurl. Obviously, as the digital education manager for DevaCurl, I think Faith is going to have a deeper insight. But I have such a long history with the brand. Faith has such a long history with the brand. We want to talk about DevaCurl, kind of the offerings. I think why it is such a well-rounded product range for texture. And then I'm excited because this is the first time I'm going to, I guess, talk about my own Texture and what I've been using. And you know, like I have been growing out my hair over quarantine and like really letting all my curls come to life. And so right now they're in their cast. It's called a cast, a product cast. We're gonna open it up. I'm gonna show you how I like to finish it. I'm gonna talk about some of the products that I use to style. And then Faith, who has a protective style right now, we're gonna talk about what you like to use with your hair from the DevaCurl line. And I think we should dive in.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the show is yours. Take it away, guys.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about our working history, Faith, and everything, but I feel like I feel like I want to identify my curl type. So can you tell me at Deva, does Deva has its own system for identifying curl types?
Yeah, so we actually, over the past few years, we've evolved. We started out referring to curls a certain way, but now we really talk about, how do you think about your curls? Of course, we have coily hair like mine. And then David, you have like really curly hair. And then we of course have our waves on the more, maybe straighter side of the spectrum. And we also really started referring to hair as far as moisture level too, so.
Oh, cool. Awesome. For me, I feel part of my journey with texture was understanding what styling products work best for my hair because it is lower porosity and creams don't always work well for my hair, which I didn't ever really think about sometimes until I started integrating it into my own care routine. So like with low porosity hair where the cuticle is more closed, sometimes those cream products sit on the surface and they just kind of weigh my curls down. So I'm a gel person. Are you a gel or a cream person?
I'm a gel person. It took me a long time to realize, but yes, me too.
Yes. Ammon, when you style textured hair, do you find that you lean towards like foams or gels or creams?
Yeah, absolutely. And David, I think it's so funny that you said that because I'm trying my best to be like, I just want these guys to banter, but that's been one of the things that I've been learning, like regardless of the brand that you're with, it's like understanding the curl type and how it responds to whether it's a cream or whether it's a gel. So I tend to lean more towards gels, but I guess it just depends on the curl type that I'm working with, right? So what the different curl types need different products. And so when you're speaking generally, I think it just depends on, the fabric that you're starting with, and that kind of dictates the type of product that you're leaning towards. So speaking of products though, like what products are your go-tos? I know we're going to be focusing on Deva today, but you can talk about the Deva products and where they fit maybe into those ranges for the different curl types, so the people who are watching know if it is appropriate for their hair type or for the guest that they're working on or whatever.
For sure. I mean, if you're watching this and you're thinking about your clients or yourself, I mean, you can see my curl type pretty well here. It's now that it's grown out a lot. So, bordering on super curly. And for me, the basis and the foundation of definition and understanding how you can maximize your curl pattern is your wash routine, how you care for your hair, how you condition it, what you do in the shower. So a lot of my foundational part of my styling happens in the shower while my hair is soaking wet. For me, I leave all of the water in my hair when I put my product in. So when I rinse out my conditioner, I give my head a really good shake. I don't run my hands through my hair, and I end up with definition like this already in the shower. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix two of the DevaCurl gels. We have the Ultra Defining Gel and the Archangel Gel. The reason I mix them is because the Ultra on its own for me doesn't have enough of a cast that lasts a couple days, but it does have, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has an anti-humectant or anti-humidity factor in the Ultra. And the Archangel has more of like this stiffness to it that I really need for me to get longevity out of my style. So I like to mix these two together because they balance it out. And what I do is a lot of gel because the hair's super wet. So remember, if your hair's very wet, it's diluting the product. And I run it through my hair and I'll squeeze it in. Then what I might do is I might go through certain sections and just make sure I really smooth them out because I want my hair to be hyper defined on day one. So that way I can really expand and expand and expand. So by day 4 is the longest I can go. It might look a little bit wild, but it still looks purposeful. So these are like my go-to products. And today I conditioned and detangled with the Decadence One Condition, which has a much higher slip than probably the regular One Condition for me. But Faith, when you do your hair, what are the products that you like to use?
Yeah, so I actually love using the No Poo Original to cleanse. I love the minty feeling on my scalp.
It's so good.
Also, this is a protective style. And so my hair is underneath, just to be clear. And so, yeah, I love No Poo Original. The minty feeling on my scalp makes my hair feel clean, but not stripped at all of moisture. And then I really love Heaven and Hair for my conditioner. It does have that nice slip, but because I have so much hair, I can also leave a lot of it in. So it saves me time in the shower and lets me get the definition that I need.
So I have a question. Oh, no, yes. David, sorry, go ahead. I was actually just going to, I love right now the way that you guys are speaking. And I want to just remind everybody that's watching, like we have both like professionals and consumers that are watching, and the way that the two of you are talking and referencing things, I think help us kind of bridge the communication gap that sometimes happens between like professional stylists and our guests, like using words like cast. You know, like what does cast mean to somebody who maybe isn't a professional, or maybe is a professional who hasn't worked with texture before? Also, the word protective style. It sounds like there's a lot of things that could be involved with a protective style. So Faith, once we kind of circle around again, I would love for your definition of what a protective style is. So maybe somebody who's not as familiar with what you mean by a protective style, they understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, Faith, definitely walk us through these terminologies. I mean, this is your area of expertise. I'm also all ears to hear what you have to say.
Yes. So I just am always on a hair journey. And so a year and a half ago, I cut my hair off. I usually like to wear my hair big and defined, and it's always different shades of blonde. And so, you know, as a colorist, it got to the point where maybe a little bit too blonde. And so I big chopped, and big chopping is when we can cut all of our heat damaged or chemical damaged hair off, or really short, and start again. And so that's what I did. And so when we got into last year, when we got into quarantine, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my hair. And so I decided to keep it in protective styles. And so there's so many different kinds of protective styling. I tried all of the things. I really started ordering like this hair online and, what can I do with the color? And so right now, actually my hair is cornrowed underneath, braided straight back. And this is crochet hair. And I really wanted to look like Lisa Bonet. And so tell me if I'm doing a good job.
Done.
Check. You look so good.
Right? I want to do it just so I can start putting like little things in my hair.
I know.
So what if I showed up on the next episode with a protective style?
So protective style really is there to protect your hair, essentially, while you're growing it out.
Yeah.
So any style that like your hair is removed and then you're placing hair either that stays there or like a wig on top is still considered a protective style. Anything that just keeps your hair from going through the usual wear and tear would be classified as a protective style. Okay, cool.
Yes.
And now the cast, which you can see in my hair, I know what the cast feels like, but from a DevaCurl standpoint, what is the cast and how important is it to your style?
Yes. So having a product cast, usually from a gel, is really helpful to hold the shape of the curl together as it's drying. And so many times, if you're not using a gel or sometimes a heavier cream, your hair can expand, and it expands when it's absorbing moisture from the atmosphere. And so that's where we see frizz. And some frizz is great. Some people like a lot of frizz. We call it functional frizz at the salon. But it really just allows your hair to dry in place so you prevent the expansion that creates frizz.
And right now I'm breaking up my cast. And what I like to do when I break up the cast of product, it literally feels, if you're not familiar, it feels like a cast of product. It's that crunchy feeling. You're like, oh, gel leaves a crunch in your hair. What you want to do is, I like to warm up my hands and just start squeezing the cast out. There's no flaking, there's no white stuff anywhere. And then if you have longer hair, you can go in and massage your scalp, but I like to go in with a pick and just start lifting up my hair and getting it off of my scalp. And you really start to see it open up, but I keep all that definition in my hair still, which is like my favorite part of it.
I think some key things like David that I love that you're doing right now, because again, admittedly part of my journey was like realizing the voids that were in my hair kit. Like if I wanted to actually truly say that I could do textured hair, there were certain things that were that I would say were not in my hair kit that need to be a part of a regular hairstylist hair kit. And then one of those things included a pick like the one you're using. I'm like, I can't really say that I do textured hair if I don't have a pick like that in my dry kit. It doesn't happen. You have to have a pick in order to be able to style some texture to hair. Because already look at the way that you've opened it up, and I love that you're doing it live for us in person. It looks great. But that's just one of those things for those of you out there who are looking to, work your way into it. If you want to really earn your way into that, right, is making sure that you're using the right tools to get these looks and to really perform what you're looking for as a stylist, but at home too. Because sometimes, the fingers help, the fingers can do the job, but nothing works better than a pick, just like you've shown us.
For sure. And what I like to do too is, because my density people always think my hair's super thick, but I don't have a ton of density. It's just the strands are thick. So what I'll do is I'll actually pull apart some of these curl families just to expand it a little bit more, because I like this definition and this is great, but if I can just go into the root and separate it a little bit, then I have just a little bit more of that fluffiness that I want, but it still feels purposeful. And I love that Faith calls it functional frizz. I call it like an angel halo. So it's just like this halo of hair, because I think sometimes we get so locked into this idea that has to look so perfect and no frizz, but right. The frizz is beautiful. It's a part of the texture and we should just embrace it and love it as it is.
I love functional frizz. I just call it fabulous frizz because I just love it. I love celebrating it. I love that right now people are more than ever like embracing it and just saying, yeah, this is my hair. I love it. It doesn't have to be perfectly defined and coily and under control. I love, David, also that you started us off with it's a great way to start on day one with maximum control and then understand that it'll build and that will just get more life to it. So you can have longevity between those washes. Faith, what are you going to be talking to us about and talking about with what you have going on right now? Are you referencing some products? Are you going to do anything? Are you going to be breaking up? No, you're not going to be doing it. You leave that hair alone. It looks amazing.
Yeah, so my hair is done, but I really want to talk about when your hair is in a protective style, like we talked about earlier, it's really important to take care of the hair that's either underneath or that's braided into hair. And so I've been using, during my protective style journey over the past year, I use a DevaCurl product called Build-Up Buster that I don't actually have on me right now. It's in my shower. But Build-Up Buster is an amazing product. It uses micellar water to pick up any buildup off of the hair and the scalp. And it allows moisture back in, but it still does not strip your hair. And so if you're a big fan of micellar technology for your skin, imagine that feeling on your scalp. And it's really important to keep your scalp healthy. And then on top of that, I love using Leave-In Decadence, which is one of our newer products. It's super, super light. It's a leave-in conditioner. And it's really important, again, when your hair is in a protective style, that you're not using something too heavy, because then that can create a cycle of buildup. And then lastly, I love using High Shine. So High Shine is a spray oil that we launched. And for anyone who's familiar with DevaCurl, and even if you're not, we love to use products that can still really come off the hair with a gentle cleanser. And the issue with oils sometimes is that oils can be really heavy and they can just, again, create buildup in the hair. And so this has really super light oils that really absorb easily into the skin and the scalp, and it creates shine. And so I love to have shine in my hair too. And so those are my favorites right now, but
perfect.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And actually, what I want to ask you, it's a question that I've been dying to know. So I'm hoping that our audience members will always obviously want to know too. When it comes to these protective styles, you being a style shifter and being able to change up and trying all the different styles while you have it, how often do you feel like you need to recommend taking it down, redoing the braids, all of that, so that you're because I know that as a hairdresser, as a professional, we know that it can't stay in that protective style for too long before you need to take out, reset, shampoo, the whole thing. How long do we have between visits for the protective styles? Yeah.
So again, it depends on the particular style. And also you can tell when it's not looking really that cute anymore. But honestly, you really should not. I personally have been limiting myself to 8 weeks max. And that's if I'm really doing, my scalp cleansing and my moisture and all that in between. But you really want to just pay attention to it too. If it's feeling super dry, if you work out a lot and you sweat a lot, you just don't want to keep it in. I think that over 3 months is too long. But I would really work with your hairstylist to make sure that you're not keeping it in for too long.
I feel let's say someone has, my curl type. Say I walked into, had my hair done by you and I said, I like a ton of definition and but I like it to be big and I want it to last a couple days. You already know what I use, but what would you probably reach for in the salon?
Okay, so I would reach for Believe In first. Believe In is a curl plumper. And it's something that, just like you shared earlier, David, that you want to put on soaking wet hair. And it really allows that definition to be in the curl. It adds shine as well. And it really keeps that moisture base. So a lot of times with any gel, clients experience the dryness, or maybe in day 3 or 4, it's kind of feeling like it looks good, but doesn't feel that great. So Believe In is a really great moisture base to start off with.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like I always forget about Believe In, even back in the day, because Believe In's been around for so long. I always forget that it's there. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I not using Believe In on my hair? Okay, good to know. Well, my hair is completely done. This is essentially what I can get out of my hair at day 1. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll keep pulling it apart. Like, it's still a little bit flat for me. Like, I want it to be a little bit bigger, but what I can do is keep picking it out. But I know that it's going to keep kind of growing and growing as the days go by. One of the questions I get asked a lot on social is what I do for day 1 and day 2, day 3. One of my biggest things that I love to do, this is maybe unconventional. I told Faith that I do this. I actually kind of go in the bathroom, I take a shower, but I don't wet my hair. I let the steam kind of reform my hair. So the steam actually kind of reinvigorates the product. I don't like to ever spray product directly into my hair because it's creating like a very, sounds counterintuitive, a damp environment versus steam. It's like wetness going on the hair. So if I do put water into my hair, it goes into my hands first. And then sometimes if you sleep on your hair and you slept on it so the curls got smushed, the steam actually just releases it back into its shape, and it really makes it like plump back up. It's like my favorite little trick. I stare at it in the mirror. Should not admit that on camera that I stared at it in the mirror doing that. But I do, because you just see it kind of come back to life.
Well, and that was going to be actually my next question for the two of you as we kind of like round up this segment and stuff, is just kind of daily for somebody who is, regardless of texture type, like David, somebody who has curls like yours, or, how important is it for like sleep routine? Like, what should they be doing at night to maintain, like, is it always a silk scarf, or, is it the silk pillow and silk scarf? Like, David, do you wrap your hair at night? Like, I'm dying to know what you look like.
I've attempted it, but I do enough ridiculous things that's where I have to draw the line. A silk pillowcase is definitely a game changer for my hair type. Always remember that hair is a fabric. We say that all the time. So it's 2 fabrics rubbing against each other all night. A silk fabric's obviously going to be a lot more gentle and take out a lot less moisture from your hair than cotton. Cotton sitting on your hair is going to absorb some natural oils and also create some friction, especially if you have higher porosity hair where the cuticle is a little more open. That friction causes some tangling. Moisture really escapes from your hair. So a silk pillowcase is my secret. Some people do wear like these really beautiful silk bonnets. What about you, Faith?
Yeah. Depending on my style, I don't love sleeping with things on my hair. So I'm always doing a satin pillowcase. But with this style, I do have a bonnet that really does preserve the style. But it's always a silky, satiny texture that helps my hair glide and not rough anything up.
Got it. Well, listen, you two, great tips, from start to finish in terms of identifying curl type, identifying, which products, depending on your curl type and depending on the result that you're looking for. So just want to take a second. I know, David, you're staying on board with me to continue hosting, but I wanted to make sure and give a special thank you to Faith for joining us today, for lending your expertise, your passion, and your gorgeous hair with us today on this episode. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faith.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Thanks so much, Faith.
Bye.
David, she was fantastic. I loved having Faith on the show, and loved seeing you guys kind of come full circle together.
It really was for pun intended, these full circles here. She's an incredible educator, and I love how DevaCurl is so dedicated to servicing all texture types. So I love that we got to do that together.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited because now we're at the portion of the show that I love so much, where we get to spotlight either a stylist or an organization. And since February is Black History Month, we decided to spotlight an organization called the National Urban League. So a couple of things that I think you'll find interesting about the National Urban League and why we've decided to partner with them at Ulta Beauty is because they're a historic civil rights organization that's really dedicated to economic empowerment and to elevate the standard of living in areas that are underserved urban communities. And I know if you're like me and you're looking for ways to get involved, or if you're interested in finding out more, we're going to go ahead and fly in the website right here so you guys can click on it and learn more about the National Urban League. And our commitment during the month of February is that we're going to have it all focused around Black History Month. So stay tuned for all things that involve culture, skin, texture, all those things to really celebrate and really bring us together during this special month.
That's so exciting. I'm blown away by all that information. I think Ulta Beauty's commitment to helping these underserved communities, especially in a month that is spotlighting Black History Month, is really special and important. So I'm so proud to be a part of Ulta right now.
Yeah, it warms my heart to be able to say that we always are able to find an organization that we're already taking part of, that we're already joined up with. And so stay tuned, you guys. We are coming back at you. That's the end of this episode for today. David, it was amazing. I want to remind everybody to stay tuned and look for us on Instagram tomorrow to announce the winner of those products that David talked about.
Make sure you check us out on Instagram.
And also, before you guys go, if you are not following us at unveilingbeauty.show on Instagram, follow us there, or you can also view all of the episodes prior to this one on our Ulta Beauty YouTube channel. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.